look for that. Good for the incumbents. It helps incumbents, right? It definitely gives them an advantage, makes it much harder for entrants, startups, innovators to come in because they have to get through all this red tape. What's up, guys? In this video, I want to talk to you about a little investment opportunity that involves regulatory capture, and I'm also annoyed. So we're going to talk about it all here in just a second. Now, I was watching this video. I've been watching a lot of the All In Summit videos, almost gone through all of them. They're excellent. I highly recommend you guys should go and check this one out. I'm going to give you guys the TLDR here. Bill Gurley gave a tremendous presentation. It was excellent. I'll link to it in the description below, but I'll give you guys a little TLDR here. So I'm annoyed because I'm on my Ron Swanson thing here, I guess, but we'll just start with it all at the beginning. Let's talk about regulatory capture, the revolving door that exists in this country between the government and corporations, and how we all get shafted at the expense of the few, but there's opportunity, so we're going to just go through it all. Great investments here, great money to be made. All right, so I'm not going to play the video because that'll probably get me copyright banned, whatever. So it all starts here. Gurley was talking about this Tropos network company, which essentially we're going back a decade or two here. What they wanted to do was they had these Wi-Fi routers that, as you can see in the pictures, could be attached to telephone poles and lamps and things of that nature. They wanted to bring affordable or even free Wi-Fi to cities, to give everyone access to Wi-Fi. Sounds great, right? I mean, that sounds good to me. It also sounded great to Philadelphia's mayor at the time. Yeah, Wi-Fi at this point is a public good up there with oxygen and water. It's kind of hard to exist without it, I guess. So this is all good. Great company here, Tropos. We've got the Philadelphia mayor on board with it. Governments are getting on board with it. All sounds great, right? And we're going to see a trend here that's going to play out over and over again with multiple industries. So it was sounding great until Callie came in here. All right, Callie's jealous because Ragnar got to a store in the video yesterday, so Callie can say hi. Hi. Look at the camera. Callie's here to say hi. No. So it all went downhill because Verizon essentially lobbied the government, as corporations do. They pushed a bill through the state legislature, an unelected body here influencing the people we elect to do what's best for us. Basically barring this company from existing, from bringing their system to the municipality. So severely restricted any Pennsylvania municipality's ability to launch a municipal broadband network. And then Comcast would follow suit, a proposal drafted by lobbyists for the telecommunication companies. Okay, very nice. And it was all led by this guy, a model citizen, we'll call him, Philadelphia's most powerful unelected official, who was the repairman for Comcast deal, came in, destroyed this whole thing. So it doesn't stop there. We'll talk a little bit more about the telecommunications industry, but it applies to every industry. Healthcare, you'll see in a second here. So Clinton signed this telecommunications bill. The aftermath of what followed was that in 1996, the top 4 leading telecom providers made up 48% of the telecom pie here. 5 years later, they would make up 85% of the telecom pie. So the effect this had was to destroy competition, destroy new entrants, especially, innovators who bring us through capitalism newer products for cheaper that are more useful. They shut all that down, and you can kind of see with this venture capital chart here into telecom equipment, completely fell off a cliff and basically ceased to exist over time because it's uninvestable, because you've got this monopoly, these big 4 or so companies that basically control everything. So hilarious, these bills they passed. This was an act to promote competition and reduce regulation in order to secure lower prices and higher quality services for American telecommunication consumers and encourage the rapid development of new telecommunications technologies. And time and again, these acts that are supposed to promote competition and be good for the consumer tend to do the exact opposite. And this just plays out over and over again. We'll go through a couple of the other industry examples here. All right, so a couple bullets here. This is the investment opportunity, regulatory capture. In regulatory capture, a special interest is prioritized over the general interest of the public, leading to a net loss for society. So I think this is a negative. Net loss for society sounds like a negative. And this is what goes on and on. But I think the investment opportunity is to find the companies that benefit from regulatory capture, which, as I outlined, it's the telecoms, but that's kind of a dying industry, I think, anyway. You know, they did what they could to stay alive, but who knows, with things like Starlink, where that whole landscape could change drastically over the next 10 years. Maybe it won't, because they'll just lobby their way into existing for the rest of time. That's also a possibility. We'll talk about more opportunities in a second here, but it just brings up this idea, this problem. We have this revolving door of executives and regulators where, you know, these guys are in these companies, then they go into government, and the effect is just to stifle, you know, innovation and competition that is good for the consumer. Here you've got a picture of another model citizen, did something with the healthcare industry, something similar to this telecom stuff with the healthcare industry. All right, here's where I'll probably get my channel canceled, but it's okay. I'll just go to X. The COVID pandemic here. This is in Germany. They were selling these COVID tests before we had ours. $3.75 for 5, or 75 cents per test. In the US, we got regulation, and if you look, every test that you buy in CVS or wherever costs you $23. So whatever that comes out to, if you get 5 tests, maybe if you're lucky, $23 though versus $3.75, thanks to regulation. And again, you see the point I'm making here? Regulation always hurts us, the end consumer, but there is opportunity. If you can kind of see in this chart here, you know, oh man. So here is the list of industries that people want presidential candidates to criticize. Number 1 is healthcare. Tech is way at the bottom here, and yet, you know, that's who they're going after now, big tech, because it's the last free bastion of hope almost. Silicon Valley, that's where you got the title here, is 2,851 miles away from Washington, D.C., and that's what's made it so successful, is that it hasn't been regulated yet. And you've seen, you know, that's how they've been able to advance technology so quickly versus all these other industries that we should be criticizing, like healthcare, like pharmaceuticals. The list goes on here at the top here, oil, gas, higher education. No talk of any of those. Shocker. But those are the most regulated industries. Now, here's where the investment opportunity is. I'll get off my rant here. You know, these companies now want to be regulated. Zuckerberg wants Facebook to have regulation. Coinbase CEO has been saying something similar. If it came to that, if these companies did actually get regulated, there's probably an investment opportunity, because the companies that fall under this regulatory capture tend to perform well after, because it stifles competition, it stifles innovation. They can kind of, you know, and then it brings up the last point I want to make, this chart here, which is fascinating, because I've seen this chart many times, and it's often, you know, painted in the light of, you know, we could put our tinfoil hat on here. I got to go get my tinfoil hat. I forgot it. Why is it, you look at this chart, why have things like healthcare and higher education gotten so much more, prohibitively more expensive, up 200% plus, while things like TVs, phones have actually vastly decreased in price? And, you know, many chalk this up to some conspiracy stuff, that it's intentional. This is a feature, not a bug of the system here, or the matrix that we're in, perhaps. But I think that there's a logical explanation. If you look at the ones at the top here, they're the ones with the most regulation. So it just goes to show you, the more we regulate things, the more you have things like regulatory capture. And who does it hurt? The consumer. It is lining the pockets of the few at the expense of the many. It is stifling innovation. It's making everything more expensive for us, the average Joes, the regular people here, the forgotten man, Amity Schlays. So why do we let this go on and on? Because I didn't really know about this until I watched the presentation here, but I think we got to share this. You got to get this video out, share this video with as many people as you can. We got to bring awareness to this, because they've got us arguing over the stupidest shit, let's be real, every day. None of it matters, and it's all to distract you from this. We're being robbed blind. And you know how you fix it? Through accountability, and it all starts with voting, I guess. But investment opportunity, you know, to bring it back home here, look for the regulatory capture. If Coinbase gets regulated, crypto industry, it'll probably do pretty well. You know, same goes for big tech here, you know, whatever. Look for that. Good for the incumbents. It helps incumbents, right? It definitely gives them an advantage, makes it much harder for entrants, startups, innovators to come in, because they have to get through all this red tape. All right, guys, a little bit of a different video, but I felt like I had to get this knowledge out there. I'm on my Ron Swanson stuff here. Please like, subscribe, drop me a comment, share this with somebody if you found it to be important, and definitely check out the full video of the All In podcast. I will link to that in the description below. This is Vinny from the Investment Club, and I'll see you guys next time.